We're at the Cavalier.
It's really fancy.
That's why we're whispering. Hi everyone.
Hey everyone.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jeremy.
And on this episode of One More Thing, we're at the Cavalier Hotel in Virginia Beach. We're not staying here, but we're here for dinner and some drinks and just to kind of walk around and enjoy the vibes and explore this hotel. And we're going to bring you along.
Let's do it.
We are going to the Hunt Room for dinner. This is located on the ground level of the Cavalier. It has a lot of influences from like hunting. It's a very like rustic but elevated feel. There's a beautiful fireplace in there and it's just a really, really fun time. I picked up the Gavel, which is a Glenmorangie Plantaret OFTD, overproof rum, sweet vermouth, pineapple syrup, lime juice, Angostura bitters, and saline. I ordered this at the recommendation of our waitress. She's like, it looks like there's a lot going on, but it's a very well-balanced drink. It's not too sweet, and she was 100% right. It was very delightful. It was an excellent flavor, not too sweet, and it just complemented. It was like a very just, I don't know how to describe it, like just a very well-rounded cocktail.
For a starter, I picked up the soup of the day, which was a chicken tortilla soup. I had peas, corn, chicken, lots of spices. It was definitely delicious, and it wasn't too much of a portion that it filled me up before my entree.
Next, we picked up the honey stung Brussels sprouts as an appetizer to split. These had hazelnut mayo and Parmesan cheese on them, and they were exactly the way that I love Brussels sprouts to be cooked. They were crispy and had a very sweet and salty flavor, and it was very enjoyable, very, very good.
For our entree, we actually split the Hunt Room burger, which is coastal cattle beef, brown sugar and pepper bacon, homemade pimento cheese, Tarnished Truth steak sauce, and it came on an everything brioche bun. And it was a large portion. We'd recommend splitting it. I think it's just too much food for one person, especially if you've gotten a couple starters. But the burger was cooked well, the bread was fresh, so it was a really good burger for sure.
For dessert, I asked our waitress what she would recommend, and I kind of like named off a couple things on the dessert menu, and I said apple bourbon cream cheesecake, and she's like, yeah, stop talking, that's the thing you need to order. So we ordered the apple bourbon cream cheesecake. It is made with dried apples, bourbon cream cheesecake, grain, and vanilla Oreo crust. And y'all, like, if you're gonna get one dessert at the Hunt Room, it needs to be this. It's excellent. It is the perfect balance of apple and bourbon with like a sweet, with like the bourbon kind of cutting the sweetness a little bit. Excellent texture, excellent flavor, 10 out of 10 dessert.
All right, so what'd you think of the Hunt Room?
I thought it was a really fun vibe. We were there on a Saturday night, and our dinner reservation was around 6 p.m. We like to have a little bit of an earlier dinner, and I think I was just surprised by how crowded it was. I was really happy that we had a reservation, even though it was a Saturday in January. But I thought the food was excellent. The service was great. You definitely need to be okay with a more like, I don't know how to describe it. You can't be totally turned off to taxidermy because some of the aesthetics and decorations around the restaurant involve that. So it's definitely kind of like a hunting lodge feel, which makes sense because it's called the Hunt Room, but the quality of the food and the quality of the service was excellent. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That's the first time we had been there for dinner. And it's just a nice place to go, especially if it's cold outside. They have the fireplace going. It's definitely a unique restaurant, and it fits in well with the old hotel and how they brought this room back that used to be at the original hotel, and now it's up and running again. So it's a special place.
We went to the distillery tour and tasting at the Cavalier. Would definitely recommend getting reservations in advance, which you can do online. You just pick the number of people in your party, the date, and then times available will pop up. I believe it's $19 or $20 per person, and that includes the guided tour and then a guided tasting. So they bring you through the production side of the distillery, so you get to learn about the whole process of distilling or, creating spirits. And then that's maybe like a 20-minute endeavor, and then they take you into a private room where you have a guided tasting of 4 spirits, and it looked like there was an option that you could have added on one of the more exclusive spirits prior, but they also gave us the option when we were there if we wanted to also taste one of the reserve spirits. So we added that on. I believe it was $15, and we just paid for that at the end. The tasting itself took maybe like 20-25 minutes, so all in it was maybe like 45 minutes, which they did say the tour would last between 30 and 45 minutes. And then, like any good tour, it ends in the gift shop where you can purchase additional items, spirits, memorabilia, souvenirs, all the fun things.
So, are y'all ready to get started?
Yes.
I don't think y'all are ready to get started. Are y'all ready to get started?
Yes.
Yes. That's a little better. We'll work on it. We're in the old Cavalier, and there's a reason why it's called old, and there's a reason why it's called historic. At that point, it's what's collecting distillate. So distillate is a scientific term for it. It's unaged whiskey, so that's actually what we're going to be putting into our barrels. Barrels have to be charred on the inside. So for show and tell, this is actually this is a stave from one of our used barrels, hand labeled and hand stickered by our team of 5 distillers.
Thank you.
Does that feel the same way about you?
Yeah. Really nice.
Wow, y'all sat down so fast. You should have stood for about 5 minutes watching everyone play musical chairs. Wow. Kind of made me start thinking about like sweet tarts and like what would this sweet flavor go with? And I learned that if you actually put it with grapefruit juice over ice, it's actually a very refreshing drink. I would never judge you to your face. Well, I can.
And that's the professionalism we like around here.
But yeah. Still tastes
Trying to see
good.
if I can figure it out.
Is a wheat, which I like wheat.
Same opinion, but or like a lot of people have the same opinion, but they usually don't like rye. It's weird.
I knew you would. I knew you would. I like the other. I like the last one. Yeah. That,
Yeah, I agree.
I like
Do you have a tarnished more each?
Is it really spicy?
No, I got that. I mean, it tastes like wheat. Yeah. It tastes like there's any alcohol.
Yeah, it's green.
You know, it's good. I mean, I like it way more.
Alright, y'all. Bottoms up. What do y'all think?
Yeah. Serious? Great. That would be funny, you know? Like at the roller coaster, you know? Yeah. And then we buy the pictures. Yeah, exactly.
We went to the Raleigh Room, which is right off of the main lobby of the Cavalier, and I believe on the weekends they offer tea, which you need to have a reservation for. It's like tea with some light bites, but we just went to the bar and I picked up the smoked old fashioned. It's a proprietary blend of Tarnished Truth high rye 3-year bourbon with demerara sugar and bitters, and this is like, I would say, their most signature cocktail, and they smoke it, and it's a really cool presentation. And I've had this a few different times, and I will say it depends on the bartender who's making it, and I usually just tell them like, hey, I like a little bit of a sweeter old-fashioned, and they're able to accommodate that, because there's been times I haven't said that and it's just been a little bit too strong for me. But I think this has an excellent flavor. I love their bourbon that they use from their distillery, that it's like their signature cocktail, and like I said, really cool presentation with the smoke.
So outside of Becca, which is next to the Raleigh Room, there is a small Cavalier Museum about the hotel. It's got pictures of the early days of the hotel, the construction of the hotel, photos of the remodeling. It's a very interesting walkthrough. It takes probably about 10 to 15 minutes to see everything, including artifacts from the original hotel construction. So it's just a great place to walk around, to learn a little bit more about the hotel, and essentially while you wait for your reservation, or just if you're taking a day trip to the Cavalier, definitely stop in there to take a look. They also have a gift shop next to the small museum for kind of some sundries, little things you'll need for your stay there, as well as some jewelry and things like that. But it's a nice little store.
So we are wrapping up our evening and the next day, kind of afternoon, little weekend endeavor at the Cavalier. What did you think of, eating at the Hunt Room and then doing the distillery tour and just enjoying all the Cavalier vibes?
I thought it was very interesting, very cool, very unique. I mean, they have their. I think it's very interesting that they have their own distillery in the hotel, and it was just a lot of fun to do the tour, just kind of see how it's made, and then taste everything that they have to offer. I had a great dinner at Hunt Room. I think that's I definitely recommend that for dinner. And then the Raleigh Room is so pleasant just to sit, and there was a piano player playing music. You're just enjoying your drink. It's such a nice atmosphere, and I would definitely go back to the Hunt Room, to the Raleigh Room, do the tour again in the future. I enjoyed all the parts of it. What about you?
Yeah, I thought the Hunt Room was great. I love the quality of the food. I love the distillery tour, even though I don't particularly love drinking spirits like on the rocks. I like them more in like a mixed drink format or like an old-fashioned. It was still really cool to be able to see how they make their spirits, see the production side of things. But then, yeah, I think sleeper hit for me was the Raleigh Room. I just love sitting in there. It just has this really old world meets new world charm, if that makes sense. Like, it just feels like it's stuck in the 1920s, and it's so relaxing to sit there, sip on a nice adult beverage, listen to some live music if they have it, and in the warmer months you can go out on the patio and enjoy the breeze. And yeah, it's just a really lovely hotel. Maybe someday we will stay there. We'll have to see. But please be sure to like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments if you're headed down to Virginia Beach anytime soon. Have you stayed at the Cavalier? Have you eaten there? Have you enjoyed the Raleigh Room vibes? We would love to know. Please let us know in the comments. And until next time.
But there's one more thing.